Testing. You can.
For goblins to live in Gazellen?
Like, a few.
No.
We're up, you know, right? We're up.
Oh, yeah, I know. We're live.
Oh,
Hello,
okay.
we're live. Yeah, I'm not really... This is sort of session 1-y, session 0-y kind of thing, so I'm just going to let people listen to us chat bollocks. I'm not really too fast.
Right.
No, there's no goblins in Gazellen. Goblins are evil in the world of Beldania. So, to answer the question, Beldania is set 11 years ahead of this. Yeah. And it starts in Sandringham and Johnston, and it progresses outwards. Also, hi Heather! Welcome back to the Quack Pack for 11 months. Thank you very much. Love you, heart.
Goblin rights.
Fuck that shit. Yeah, so anyway, we begin in the... We do not begin wherever the fuck this fucking picture is.
Well, you know what you do need to do, James?
Mm-hmm.
Sidebar.
Oh,
It was, Draftnor.
I don't have the interwebs open for that shit.
Is that the Walt Disney Castle?
No, I did consider using the Walt Disney Castle though, as Kira knows.
You almost did, yeah.
I was like, that looks pretty right. And then I was like, wait, shit, that's got a rainbow behind it. It definitely looks like the Disney Castle. Okay, ooh, PC working. Yes, PC working! PC working! Very excited. I don't think I can say that. I don't think I can actually say that like that on Twitch, but fuck it. Whatever, PC working. Very happy. Don't know how to fix this shit. Have not done it in forever. I'm getting there.
Did they actually fix it, or could they just not
They
figure out what
replaced
was wrong?
all of the slots of my RAM and my RAM for 100 quid, and if it starts not working again, I'm going to take it back. They're going to refund me, put my RAM back in, and start trying to fix it again.
Right.
It
Sounds
was a
great.
sort of fix. Okay, now I've done that shit and the other shit. Cool, so we are in the Academy of Shar. The Academy of Shar is two things. It is a school and a university of magic. The highly privileged and the highly wealthy, and children of the highly privileged and highly wealthy more specifically. And occasionally certain other people, such as sons of the captain of the guard, for example. By the captain of the guard, I mean sort of army generals and commanders in the Dawn Guard, are sent to the academy. The Academy in Shar spends 8 years from the age of 30, well, 7 years technically, from the age of 13 to 20, teaching privileged children politics, history, mathematics, science, languages, alchemy, herbalism, economics, trade structure, and various other basic skills. It also teaches etiquette and culinary skills, amongst other things. However, if you are gifted in the magical arts, you may stay on from the age of 20, 21, 22, 23, for the 3 years study of magic, at which point you may then stay on as a long-term research student, looking to either become a teacher, a professor, or perhaps a wizard who protects in a certain area or town, for example. Or you may choose to go out into the world and use what skills you've been given to magic. The majority of the students who attend the university, the magical studies, have already spent 7 years in the school. However, there are a very select few who are powerfully gifted magically, who have been brought in solely for their magical talents, and these students do not pay. They are called bursary students, and they are students who are able to join purely on the basis that they are incredibly magically talented, not because they have money. However, you're all privileged fucks. You do, however, also happen to have some magic ability. But I think it's fair to say that you guys have been up to no good and knowing each other since you were about 13. In my head, if I may just speculate on how your characters might have behaved, it all started off with Cadmus Golden Skin and Zas. The more studious types, the more studious,
yes.
the more studious types, taking a moment to be nerdy and study at the front of the class. They were a little teacher's petty. When DC, the Deceiver, Ziggy Lightfoot, and Bartholomew Amos were a little less studious and played the odd prank on the two of them. Cadmus may have found his books biting him or mysteriously disappearing, his chair that wasn't a chair not being a chair and finding himself going straight through it, and various other strange magically tricks were played upon him, occasionally landing DC and Cadmus in DC and Bartholomew in detention, where perchance they would have met Eveltria. Eveltria spends quite a lot of time in detention because, well, frankly, she's an arsonist. It's not always intentional, but it happens. Things just seem to catch fire around her. And as the three of you met in detention and realized that perhaps Cadmus and Zas weren't all that bad and were actually quite good sport, the five of you would eventually have formed a little friendship group. Fast forward to the age of 21, we have entered our second year at the university. And now, beyond my speculation... oh, that's not meant to work like that. Where's Matt's face more important than my alerts? Jay, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the Duck Pond. And please stay the fuck away from my pond life. So as I eat a bar of chocolate and enjoy the fact that this is a really casual, laid-back episode, I am going to ask, first of all, we're going to go from bottom right, anti-clockwise. Kira, please tell us about your character.
Hello. My name is Zas. I am a lizard folk, reddish-brown scales, and I was born in Yukon along with my parents. I have a younger sister, and, well, my family has always been poor. One day in a hunting trip, I was pretty unremarkable. I didn't really like hunting. I more along the lines enjoy gardening. Plants are nice, and understanding the cycle of life and death is a bit therapeutic to me. I don't really like death, but I understand it. One day, out on a hunting trip, my powers surfaced, and with that, my parents decided that they would drop everything to take me, be able to send me to Shar. And you can, we have a resource that may not be available to the rest of the world, really. These herbs kind of cause some sort of hallucinogenic effects. Some use them for relaxing and other recreational uses. So my father decided to work for one of the biggest, baddest people in town and become a runner to pay for my schooling. Alongside using my powers, I used to take, I used to hate it, but used to take little animals and use them as carriers when we try to run drugs for them. However, they made enough money, and I was able to leave. And now, well, I'm here in the Academy of Shar. I send money back to my parents every now and again, but I haven't really heard much from them recently. I just want to be able to help them. They did all they could for me.
I killed them off.
Oh.
I didn't really.
Wow.
No.
Savaged.
So that is Zas. And tell us just a couple of more specific details about Zas. Zas is a necromancy wizard, correct?
Yes, I use my necromancy, even though it may be a little frowned upon, but my necromancy is mostly used for healing, and it's the best of my ability. So there's only a few times I've been able to raise the dead, and I'm not really a religious person because I know my magical ability may kind of spit in the face of the gods, but some of them at least. But yeah.
Ironically, the god of the lizard folk would fucking love a bit of necromancy. Necromancy in the world of Shar is more about the transference of life essence and energy than it is about raising little skeletons. There is a strange art that mixes the arts of conjuration and necromancy. That is the summoning of the undead, and it is most definitely illegal both in Shar and all across Beldania. However, the art of necromancy is cherished and taught at the school, and the transference of life is a very important aspect of magic. You are a lizard folk, that is correct? Yes, lizard folk,
Yes.
necromancer, wizard.
Yes.
All of our players are wizards. that is the idea of the Academy of Shar. We are studying at wizard school. It would be a bit shit if somebody had cheated and turned up on a fucking druid. Next, Josh, if you would kindly introduce your character, please.
Sure. So I will be playing Bartholomew Amos, or Bart to his friends. He grew up incredibly privileged. His family is incredibly rich and respected. And although you'd think that would be a pretty happy life, his parents don't really think of him at all. He's a bit of an inconvenience. They've merely had him to further their line and to have an heir to what they build, but they see his son as a means to an end to marry off and gain more status. So they're incredibly cold to him, and when he first started manifesting his magic, they were like, "We're sending you to boarding school. Get the fuck out." But because of this, because of his parents not really giving a shit about him and not paying any attention, he's growing up, he started acting out, trying to get their attention by being mischievous, and that kind of behavior has carried on through his schooling. Still trying to get people's attention, but never in a malicious way, just in ways he thinks are fun. He's a school of illusion. He's a human. He's like 22.
You are not in the School of Illusion.
You're right. I lied. That was a test. I am in the School of Conjuration. Yeah, I think that's it. Is that it? Is that everything? I described him well.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a little bit about like nobility and Jolson and all of that afterwards. So yeah, that's more than enough. Who's next in line? Jamal. Tell us about your character,
Okay,
please.
guys, Jamal here. I'm going to be playing for this campaign Cadmus Goldenskin. A lot of these people think they're privileged. Cadmus might have the claim for probably the most privileged of the lot, considering his nobility lineage. Yeah, you might question that as well as it might be. Yeah, James, you might question that. I mean, but we know his line of nobility is basically.
He's from
not
a
like
very,
in
very
line-
important family, but he's not particularly important to them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
there we
not
go.
in line for the throne or anything,
No.
but you know, a
But
part
he is
the
of the
family.
royal family of the Dragonborns.
And Cadmus is spending a lot of this time finding himself as such. He really doesn't know his place in the family as such. He knows he's not really relevant right now, but it's, you know, he's aspiring to something at least of 8 characters trying to find. Wow, James, that's brutal. Yeah. But no, he's definitely trying to find himself. He's in a bit of a difficult spot really because he's got expectations placed upon him within the family, but to reach them is a big goal. It's no small thing. As for what Cadmus does, Cadmus is aspiring to become a powerful wizard in the School of Transmutation.
So for technicalities, he is a transmutation golden dragonborn wizard. Correct?
Yes, that
And
is
he
correct.
is also a nerdy, slightly shy guy. Yep.
Yep, and
Marvelous.
surprisingly, he's pretty buff and strong. So a lot of the time, he'd probably be, trying to get his physique up in form, and
He does keep a fine physique, yes.
yeah, surprisingly for a bookworm.
In the anti-clockwise system, next I have Alora. Wow, I'm so proud of that. I've been planning
so
all
good.
day
You
today
didn't
that I
call
was
me
not
Kenna.
going to say Kenna.
You did it.
Alora,
Congratulations.
please tell us about your character.
Okay, so I am playing Aveltria. She, ever since her powers manifested as a kid, she started setting fires a lot around her home and, in public spaces. And basically, even though her parents say it was for her good and, education and blah, 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 she knows she was sent away because she was a hassle. So she got sent off to school without her twin brother Elliot, who is still at home. She's a half elf. it should be no surprise that she specializes in evocation magic, especially where fire is concerned. And yeah, basically, she's got a reputation for setting fires around the school. And she has been in detention a lot. A lot of the time, you might have heard of an incident, and you may have been in detention that day, and she might not have been there every time. So she's got some stuff going on, but she hasn't been suspended yet, so that's good.
Nope. Jamal's parents love him very much. Lavi, as do Kira's. Well, the other two are hassle. So for sense of exactly what you are a evocation wizard, half-elf, is that correct?
Correct.
So you will set fire to everybody's houses, but you will sculpt them around the cat.
Oh yeah.
Brilliant. That's what we like to hear. And finally, but not least, Matt, please tell us about your character. And your parents that
Hello.
love you.
I'm Matt. My parents do actually love me. I'm playing Ziggy Lightfoot, nicknamed DC. He is a forest gnome and studies in the School of Illusion, which is basically because all the gnomes that he grew up with did illusory stuff all the time. I come from a huge community of gnomes, I guess you could call it, with a lot of brothers, sisters, and friends. But I am also very naive and kind of oblivious to the world around me, and kind of just annoy people and anger people in a way that I don't understand that I'm doing. And therefore, the so-called friends that I say I have, I probably don't have, but I don't know it better. So I'm always happy, basically. I love doing anything that has to do with illusion and finding out new tricks with magic. Always for good, never for bad, but sometimes it leads to some bad consequences. I don't mean to, but it is what it is. And basically, I'm here because my parents wanted me to experience life outside of the forest I'm from, and maybe grow and mature a little more than my very lackadaisical view on everything and naiveness. So yeah. Oh, I also have a little pet squirrel that I hide in my bag. So yeah, that's basically it.
I'm sorry, I'm really distracted by the fact that I have just gifted a sub to my community while concentrating on something completely different. Congratulations, Labby, I guess. You're welcome. I have no idea how that's happened. I think yeah. However, we do, however, have our 5 players. So, as we begin in the Academy of Shar. However, we do not begin in the main school as such. We begin in somewhere called the Enchanting Imbibery. The Enchanting Imbibery is sort of unusual bar as such. As you come in, you will note the instruments playing themselves upon the stage. There is nobody playing them. There is just the instruments with the bows animated playing away. As you come in, you will see each round table is at the center of it. A small silver bowl. Inside that bowl is a pair of lips. And as each person sits at the table, the lips will say, "What can I get you to drink?" As you look over far to the right, you see one man. He's quite large, bald-headed, big moustache, and he's holding a rag, and he's endlessly cleaning his wooden bar top. One thing that's incredibly unusual about these tables is that all of your tables are covered in glass. They're all circular tables, glass-topped. Silver bowl, lips in them, and you see that as you look over at the gentleman who is cleaning the bar, every time that somebody sits down, his lips temporarily disappear as they appear in a bowl elsewhere, and that is how people are communicating with each other. So, as we come to the group that are sitting in the bar relaxing after a long day's study. I think it's fair to say the 5 of you are there, relaxing. What would you be doing or drinking? We'll do it in reverse order. I will come first to DC. Would you prefer to go by DC or Ziggy, by the way, Matt?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Brilliant. I'm probably going to call you
Whatever
Ziggy.
people.
So
Yeah,
we'll come first to
doesn't
Ziggy.
matter.
What would you be drinking, and what's your character doing in the bar? You just come out of a horrible politics lesson.
Nothing in school is horrible for me, so it might have been horrible for everyone else, but I enjoyed it. Probably continuing reading some kind of book about magic and drinking water.
Water.
Yep.
Adventurous type. It's Friday night. Why are you drinking water? Well,
Gotta keep myself hydrated.
so as you sit down at the table and water, please, you say to the bowl, and a glass surges up within the bowl and fills itself with water as it does so. What you are seeing is, if you look at the bar instead, is that the gentleman is filling a glass with water, and then he places it into what appears to be a sort of small chandelier, if you like, and he just pushes it upwards. Eventually, it is sat nicely in the bowl, and you can pick up your glass and drink away. As sat to your left is Eveltria Inowin. Eveltria, what would you be drinking? After a hard day's, a hard lesson in politics. It was incredibly boring, incredibly challenging. What would you be drinking? What would you be doing?
Whatever is strongest.
That's up to you. You could be drinking fire whiskey. You could be drinking honey brandy. You could be drinking the strange rum from the pirate sailors of the East. Or perhaps you are drinking something a little more unusual. Perhaps wormwood liquor, which is more hallucinogenic in nature, although very, very strong alcoholically, most similar to absinthe.
Well, I think it was right there in the name. Fire whiskey.
Fire whiskey it is. As you order a fire whiskey, he sort of rolls his eyes and his lips disappear, and a small crystalline glass comes up into the bowl, and you see it covered in it's sort of a deep red honey color. And across the table from you is Cadmus, Golden Skin. Put that book away, Cadmus. What are you drinking? What are you
come
doing?
on. I need to be doing more studying, my dude.
There you go.
You know what? I like the idea of that honey brandy, but then the wormwood liqueur, the absinthe, sounds good too. Start with the brandy, finish with the absinthe.
Okay.
Let's not get home tonight.
As you order one honeyed brandy from Sandsedge. Sandsedge is a region in the east of Corman, land of the halflings, and they make this beautiful brandy. It's got like just a hint of honey to it, and it's placed in a nice, delicate, warm glass and pushed through, where it arrives in front of you. And as it does, Bartholomew, you see this coming up. What are you doing?
Well, I will use my minor divination to summon a golden bejeweled goblet in my hand.
Sorry, did you just use a minor divination to summon something?
Sorry. I mean,
Have you any idea what school of magic you're playing today?
I foresee it. Okay.
I foresaw my glass, and it appeared.
I meant minor conjuration to summon a golden bejeweled goblet. And I'll hand it over to the barkeep. And I'll ask.
How are you handing it over to the barkeep? You're sitting 20 foot away. Is
Then I will
this
walk
being?
over
Oh, you're
to-
walking. It's not being mage-handed or something across.
No.
Okay.
Oh, sure. Why not? But can
You
I-
will
yeah,
notice that most of the pouring of the drink is going on with a mage hand. He's still wiping the bar as the mage hand is sort of cleaning other stuff.
Okay, yeah, I'll mage hand it over there. I'll take that honey brandy.
Okay, one honey brandy placed in your goblet. Your goblet is
Yeah.
warmed up ever so slightly by a flame that is conjured from his hand, not from his mage hand, and then he
Yeah.
places it through the bowl, and up it comes.
And then I'll mage hand it back to myself.
Mhm.
And then I'll hover it above my head. I'll be like, hey, Cadmus, check this out. And I'll snap my fingers, and the goblet will fade, and the liquid will just fall into my mouth.
Nice. I like it.
Wow. Nice party trick.
At this particular moment, the
Is there a
saxophone.
party?
At this particular moment, the saxophone on the stage begins to play. He gets a bit loud and raucous, and starts sort of playing this solo. And the bartender, "Oi, stop showing off!" And the saxophone calms down again and resumes participating in the normal tune. As you hear this sass and you see it, what are you doing?
I would probably follow suit. That water was for the entire table, correct?
The water? No. Just one.
Yes. Well, I would have ordered water as well.
Okay. Rises
There's no
to the
need to spend any absorbent amount of money. Um, Meanwhile, while everyone is doing everything, I would have had my unseen servant have a book in front of me and continually to flip the pages as I read and drink. Um, then I'll kind of look up and, Cadmus, you sure you should be drinking so much today?
It's Friday night. You gotta cut loose, right? Gotta relax and chill, yeah.
Are you actually stressed? Is something wrong?
I'm always a little stressed. It's good. It's good stress though, yeah.
Good
Gotta light the
stress.
fire under your butt.
Hmm.
Work hard at things.
Guess. I mean, I'm just saying, when you wake up tomorrow, you may have a hangover. That cuts into your study time.
Jesus, lighten up.
A hangover lasts a day.
Did I say anything that was wrong?
I'm gonna wave my hand and minor conjuration a banner in front of Zas's face that says, "Cheer up."
I am.
As you do so, you hear a laugh from slightly. Sorry to cut you off, but you hear a laugh from at the doorway, and as you turn to the doorway, you see someone a little unusual. She's very tall and quite thin, and she appears for the most part humanoid. Human? You're not quite sure. She has long black hair, and as she turns her eyes to you, you see that they are yellow, with a thin slit down the center. And instead of blinking top to bottom, they blink right to left. She looks over, and with a flick of her forked tongue, she walks over to you. Good evening. I don't suppose I might join you. I'm new here. This is my first day today.
Sure, let me get you a seat, and I'll flick my wrist and summon chair for her.
She looks at it. Oh, my dice are closed. Sorry, give me a second. I was expecting to have to roll so early. What's the investigation check on it to see that it's not? Or otherwise, what is your spell save?
My spell save is 13.
Well, she's sitting on it, so it doesn't really matter. So as she goes to sit down, she falls through the chair, but she doesn't hit the ground. She sort of snaps her fingers and falls very lightly and almost touches the ground and then just rises back up. As you notice, she's featherfalled herself that fast. And she looks up. Yes, I see you're a trickster. I can be a trickster too.
I'll minor conjuration the same goblet again, even though it's empty. Touche.
And she looks down at the bowl and I'll have a glass of red wine, please. My name is Cassandra. It's my first day here today. I know that most students start in the first year, but today I started the second year. I studied with my parents. She looks over at Zaz. I'm sure you understand the politics keep us away sometimes.
Yes.
But my parents couldn't afford to send me here, but here I am nevertheless. And I find myself looking for friends. What schools do you specialize in? How about you, Lizard Man?
My name is Zas, and I'm a necromancer.
Pleasure to meet you. A lot of necromancy. Complicated. Interesting.
I'll let the unseen servant turn the page. I'll look back at my book.
Studious gentleman. And how about you? He looks over to Ziggy.
Hi, yes.
Ziggy, sorry.
I'm Ziggy. I am from the School of Illusion.
More tricksters. I see.
Yes, we like to have fun.
I like to have fun, but of a different kind. She looks over to Cadmus. You're a quiet one, Dragonborn.
Yes.
What kind of magic do you
Cadmus,
specialize in?
I am seeking to gain proficiency in the art of transmutation.
I believe you have some proficiency already in the art of
Greater.
transmutation, given that you
Greater
have greater
proficiency.
proficiency. Yes.
However, I have one request.
Mhm.
Please be a match for these two jokers here.
I'm not a trickster of the same kind, but we can always play some games later on. And she sort of looks. Her eyes are constantly darting left to right, left to right, left to right. She takes her wine in hand and sort of looks her. You see her sort of look directly at Aveltria, and then just slide her eyes sideways. Bartholomew, she's looking at you. What's your name? What magic do you study?
Sorry, did we get her name before? Oh, she's just
Cassandra.
Sandra.
Well, I think you can already tell illusion, and then I'll get rid of the.
Still an illusion wizard. For reference, Josh changed class.
What is wrong with me? I mean conjuration. I'll get rid of the goblet and then summon like some confetti to roll to fall down on me. What about you?
Tricks. She stares straight at you. Speaks quietly. You don't already know. Make a wisdom save, please. DC 18.
Ooh.
17, sorry.
That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, beautiful. As you feel the effects of her words sort of almost beginning to enthrall you, relax you, I prefer enchantment myself. Besides, it is one thing to study enchantment, it is another entirely to be enchanting. And sister, I find myself enchanted. What is your name and what do you study? She looks to the only other female at the table, obviously.
Is there a candle on the table?
No, just one simple silver bowl at the center of the table. However, there is a candelabra above your head.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna point up and have all the flames expand outward in 5-foot radius.
That's you.
Yeah, take a guess, Shifty Eyes.
You're the fire girl, eh?
What is
My,
astute guess.
first thing I heard about when I came here was you. Apparently there was a bit of a drama a couple of days ago. Apparently you like creating drama quite a lot.
Sure, I don't know what you mean.
I'm sure I also do not know what I mean. Well, it is a pleasure to make all of your acquaintances. I caught the end of that politics lecture and found myself desperately bored. Do they...
It was quite riveting to me.
Perhaps for those who are not schooled in politics from their nurse mothers, it would be interesting, but in the land of Yakan especially, if you are in the political circles, politics is what we are weaned on. It's politics and poison and poison and politics and politics and poison and poison and politics.
And poison and politics?
Poison and politics, you
Or
are.
was that politics and poison?
Both, equally. You are not immune to at least 5 poisons by the time you're 12, then you are likely to... Interesting world. Whereas, I find the academy a little bit more peaceful. But...
I grew up with poison. I'm still alive.
Good. Then you would do well in my country. But you say you found the politics riveting.
Yes.
Interesting. I couldn't help but disagree on their points of the Tabaxi hierarchy. I find that the Tabaxi are usually a little more respectful of their elders than simple bloodlines. But
Well, Understanding is just something that's a bit more. I look to understand.
And do you think politics are best understood by books or by travel and experiencing them firsthand?
I believe experiencing them, experience is definitely the better teacher. However, there's nothing wrong with preparation. Proper study can allow you to be prepared.
This much is true, but it seems that some of these books are outdated. Politics moves daily, does it not?
Eveltria orders another shot.
Sister,
Please,
you are
but-
not interested in the academic arts?
Interested so much as endure.
What about the classes on magic? Does that interest you more? Do you enjoy learning new spells?
Who wouldn't?
True enough, true enough. Well, I look forward to seeing you in class on Monday. I will be taking my leave, if that's okay. But it is a pleasure to meet you all. That she
Agreed.
is her class. And you see two other students enter who you would know. They sort of walk past your table and give you snide looks as they go past. These two are both of the... no. These two are both of the same house as you all. And we are going to discuss that in a second as to which house we are in. However, they are... Come on, little mouse. You can do it. Fantastic. They are both children of the Lagon family. The Lagon family are the upper lords in Jorston, the lords of the Lorvalan province, and Lord Lagon is the uppermost noble, apart from the royalty, in the whole of Jorston. They're an incredibly important family, and this brother and sister, they are both 21 twins, are incredibly important. They are not the heirs to the Lagon legacy, but they're pretty close behind. Bartholomew, you most certainly would know, not only know them because they've been with you throughout all this time, but you would also know that when summer comes and you will go home for the summer, there is a lot of competition for the hand of either of these two. Just for reference, their names are Matthias and Eladria. Probably wouldn't have called her Eladria if I had known that Laura was going to go for Eveltria, but woman, such is life.
Oops.
Not
And they
to
give
mention
us,
the twin thing as well.
yep, and they such is life, and they give you this sort of snide look as they go past. And whereas a lot of the there's no real sort of childishness in the school. There's no bullying anymore. Those of you who've moved on to the university are there to study primarily, and you all sort of take part and are interested in at least some respect. But there is a sort of viciousness going on where politicking is beginning to become a part of the adult life. So, for example, the Lagon brother and sister, they threw a rather exclusive and expensive dinner party recently. And they invited some of the most boring and inept students at the school. But they specifically didn't invite any of you five. You know, they threw this dinner on for like everybody in your house in your year. But they left you five out. They... yeah, quite snide. It was a snubbing, although you all realized that it was probably only done to snub Bartholomew, as his house family is looked on a little badly, because although they're very wealthy and they're into mining, they're not so much of importance or noble bloodline, and that's what the snub was about. Bartholomew's probably doesn't give a shit about his family bloodline, but that's the sort of people they are. They're snide. And as they walk past, they sort of give you the eyes, and they turn to the bartender and sort of wave, "Change the music, put on something more lively, more upbeat." And the bartender sort of, "Yes, of course, very much so." And you see that a bottle of bubbling wine and two fluted glasses come through the table, and people who are sitting around the bar, so I will come to you in a second, Bart. People who are sitting around the bar sort of move over to, nobody sits at their table, but people stand around their table, like Pathetic sycophants, really. Yes, Josh.
So you said there was going to be like a bottle of champagne and glasses.
There are.
Yeah. Could I try and sneakily minor conjuration an identical glass on the tray without
So
them
3
realizing?
glasses.
What?
So you would make it 3 glasses.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Roll a deception check for me, please. I thought that was Kieran's face palm.
No. My nose itched.
Just as soon as I said the word deception, you went.
Oh no.
What do we got?
That's a 14.
A 14, unfortunately. As you do this, she sort of looks down at it. Is it real? Is it completely real? Yeah.
It is until
So
I
she sort of taps it and flicks it with the glass, and she looks at it, and you can see that the 2 glasses are very crystalline and elegant. It came with it. Perhaps you missed something ever so slight, maybe a gem somewhere, but she looks at it a little suspiciously, with her 19 in perception. Yeah, but she doesn't notice where it's come from. And as the Prosecco is... Oh, Prosecco. It's just decided it's Prosecco now. As the bubbling wine, sparkling wine, is poured out into the 2 glasses, you notice that it is deep purple in colour. And you all know that this is celebrated this year. One of the teachers, the headmaster of illusion, who you will get to study with for the first time next week, is quite famous for having recently produced this liquid that rises from the bottom of the glass upwards. The bubbles do strange things, and when each person hiccups, they will hiccup a small tune. It's most unusual and most interesting. However, it's very expensive right now. They pour 2 glasses, and then they pour a 3rd glass into the glass that came through, that Bart, you produced, and they hand it to one of their sycophants, one of these younger-looking girls who's fawning up at them. She's got elven ears and deep red hair. And she takes a sip from it. Are you doing anything with it?
No, I'll wait till the poor unfortunate girl finishes, and then I'll disappear it away.
Okay, right, very well. So yeah, you see these 2, and you realise that you will have a class with them on Monday morning. As such, the evening goes on, and they don't really pay you any mind or any attention. Is there anything specific that any of you will be doing on your evening of drinking and frolicking?
I would have waved at them as they walked past us and just been like, "Hey, friends."
They, as you did so, like the gentleman, Matthias, sort of looked at you and rolls his eyes and looks away. The girl just sort of almost looks at you and then just turns her head sharply the other way and walks onwards, like almost like your words dirtied her. She just sees herself as so much finer and better than any of you. As we watch the sycophants attend them and they drink, and the music starts to get a little bit more lively and raucous, and the whole bar starts to get a bit more lively and raucous. Drinks are flowing a little more freely. Avaltia, can you make me a charisma save, please?
Didn't have my dice out.
Oh, good. What I like to see. Get those dice
Oh,
out.
that's great. 3.
3! Brilliant. As you are idly sitting here bored with Zas and Cadmus's discussion of today's politics lesson, you look over to the flames and in the hearth, the fireplace, and you notice that somebody is idly sort of summoning different shapes in the smoke that is coming out the fire. And you almost jerk and can't help yourself as suddenly you just make the fire, boom, sort of jerk outwards. You expand it briefly. The girl who was sitting close to the fire, making the smoking shapes, almost has her eyebrows singed.
So I can't control flames that down.
Not quickly enough, no. I mean, as soon as she's raised it, kind of lets it. Was always gonna happen. Was always gonna happen. Why did you have to make 2 fire characters? As soon as she expands the flames, Aveltria is able, like, she lets them down straight away. But that little puff, you see, like, the flames are up and then gone immediately. She flops her perception check miserably, and as she looks around to see what the source of this, she can't find it. I wonder how Aveltria feels in the situation that she's noticed she's done this to the girl.
She sorta just kind of quietly sets down the fire whiskey and orders water.
Okay. So
And
she
just
takes
kinda
note
sits
of her
back.
lack of control, and she feels ashamed, or just doesn't want
Yeah,
anything worse to happen.
there's some guilt, but mostly is just sort of trying to mask and continue on as if nothing happened.
Do we notice that she's done this?
You'd have noticed the fire bulge, and pretty much unanimously, I just imagine all 5 heads just... Well, 4 heads, sorry, yeah. All 4 heads just unanimously turn to Aveltria, and as she then turns to the bowl and orders water.
I'll like move my body so like I don't know where she's sat like opposed to me.
So the 5 of you are sat in a round table. So we had Ziggy to Aveltria's right and Zast to Aveltria's left. You and Bartholomew would be... You and Cadmus would be opposite her. I will get used to you guys' names. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll look into the table to where to right next to her, and I'll minor conjuration a small book of water. Maybe that'll help.
Oh, to the girl who's singed her eyebrows?
No, to
You did mean to Aveltria, yeah?
yeah.
Okay, right, cool. Sorry.
I missed what you said it was.
A bucket of
Small
water.
bucket of water.
Talking about it. I'm just gonna sort of glare at Bart.
There's no need for that. It's unnecessary.
No need for what? It's just a bit of fun. Jeez.
I understand, but sometimes you can see that perhaps there's a timing for everything.
You know what? You're absolutely right. I'll get rid of the bucket of water with like a flick of my wrist. And then with my other wrist, I'll put an identical bucket above Zaz's head, turn it upside down, and
I will react to that one. I will immediately be shaping water and keeping it held above his head without it splashing over him.
It's confetti coming out, not water.
Ah, okay.
As you are both involved in this playful art, and all of you are sort of distracted by this bit of fun, I would like to take... Who's got the highest natural perception? I haven't done any notes on your characters. Can I
I've got a
take your...
3.
You've got a 3 in natural perception? Passive perception?
Oh no, 3 in perception.
No, who's got the
ability.
passive? Who's got the highest passive perception?
14.
Not me.
Anybody got a higher than a 14?
No, I think Aveltria may be the highest currently.
Yeah.
In age-old tradition, Alora, then. I shall take a perception check from you, please. As you seem to be that one again. You like your wisdom, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel wrong if I'm not proficient in perception.
Can I see things?
It's
Yes.
16.
Okay, you notice that the entire crowd has parted around the table of the people whose names have gone out of my head. Matthias and Aladria, but what is their surname? The Lagon siblings. And one girl stands in the middle of this parted area, and this is Cassandra, the Yuan-Ti that was involved earlier. Her deep purple tresses down her back. You see her standing quite at ease, hand on one hip, glass of wine in her hand. The Yuan-Ti isn't dressed with the current fashions. She clearly doesn't have the money that, say, the Lagons have. Or, you even notice in, like, the cut of Bart's clothing and Cadmus, they are people who are exquisitely dressed, even when they don't try and impress. You notice that she's not dressed in the richest of fabrics, but what she is dressed in, she wears with ease. And as she sort of stands there with a hand on her hip, you can see that the Lagon sister, Aladria, is sort of making cutting remarks towards her. But she's got a small smirk on her face. Can I have a perception... sorry, gave me a perception check. Can I have an insight check, please? Unless you wish to mention this to the table, and then you all might turn, and I'll take an insight check from whoever's got the highest passive insight.
Yeah, I'll probably just sort of nod over. It's like, check out.
Actually,
What's
not
going
over.
on
Who's
over
got the
there?
highest passive insight, please?
13?
Anybody higher than a 13? Any raises on a 13? Any raises on a 13? Anyone want to go higher than a 13? Nobody higher than a 13? 13 is sold! Cadmus! Insight check, please.
Insights check.
Your stupid nerd
That's a
is
13.
proficient in insight? Okay. That's what he... Oh, 13.
He's
There we
got a
go.
lot of wisdom. He's just not got charisma, dude.
I see. He's got a lot of wisdom. That's why it's not something you've got proficiency in.
No, it's not my
Okay,
Aaron
I was going to
Hockhopper,
say,
dude.
I'm really not sure that that you're the one I was
He's
thinking
not
of for
my
this
Aaron
insight.
Hockhopper,
But yeah, as
He's
you
not
sort
my
of
Aaron Cockroach.
as you look over, you sort of notice that the Yuanti has a trick up her sleeve of some sort. She talked earlier about being a trickster as well, but perhaps her trickster ways are on a little higher scale. As you
I'll be
notice,
watching this keenly.
you notice one of the teachers get up from a table across the hall. He walks quite lightly. He's got his cowl all the way up. You've never seen this teacher's face. He is the evocation master. His name is Hadras, Hadrass, if you wish to take notes. And Hadras has his cowl up as always. Nobody has ever seen his face as far as you know from the students. And you just hear his voice. It's very quiet, but it moves across the whole room. And as he speaks, the fires in the fire in like the fireplace and the candelabras just dim ever so slightly. I think it would be wise if you stop that, Cassandra. As you sort of look more closely, can I take an Arcana check from everybody, please? Let's see if any of you can get high enough to work out what is happening before it is stopped.
22.
Dirty 20.
23.
Hey, 20.
We're all good at Arcana, but only one of you was high enough. The 23, Cadmus. That was the DC. Because 22 didn't quite cut it. As you look over, you notice that the within the drinks is a strange purple liquid that she is conjuring from behind her back, and it's going sort of around along the floor, up the table, and into the glass.
And the evocation master saw this.
It's got viper's tongues. No. The evocation master felt this. You can see, like, he was sitting in the corner, and he's continually detecting magic. You'd know that there's always a teacher in the bar, just ensuring that, like, nothing drastic goes on. Because it's one thing when things get a little bit out of hand with some drunkards in your average school, but when every single one of you studying magic, it's probably a better idea that there's someone on hand to quell the fires, so to speak.
Because people will get hurt.
And
badly.
what's more interesting at this point is Cassandra looks to the evocation master. I didn't think you would be so interested in stopping what is a political maneuver, Hadras. Your family don't forget you burnt one. She storms out. Although she's spoken to a teacher, who is clearly her elder, you see the evocation master sort of recoil ever so slightly, and then he said, "That's enough, please be about your evening." Yes, Bart, go on.
Wait, so is he a student or is she an assassin? Or is she both?
Is she an assassin?
Yeah, she hasn't poisoned them, no?
We don't know what it
Cadmus
is.
knows that she was putting something in their drink. You don't know what it was. She said it was a political maneuver. Judging by the fact that she's a Yuanti, yes, poison might make sense, but she probably wasn't trying to kill them. This poison may have been to make them look stupid, or perhaps to do something else. The likelihood that she tried to kill them and the evocation master responded with, "Please stop that," is very slim.
Maybe he didn't know either.
Speaking of in-school politics.
Yeah, you would guess from the way that she spoke to him that she knows of him at least. Zas, can I take a history check with disadvantage, please? Because although Zas lives in the same land... Ooh.
I got a natural 20 on the so it's a dirty 20 and a natural 20. So
So the dirty 20. Yeah,
Yeah.
although Zas comes from the land of Yakan, his parents are not involved in high-level politicking. Nevertheless, even he has heard of the shame of Hadras. Hadras was the heir to a rather important family in Yakan. He went to study at the School of Magic. However, in his third and final year, he attempted to mix narcotics and magic and alchemy all at the same time, and it blew up in his face. And what happened is, if you were to see his face now, he's called the Faceless One because he's effectively burnt his face off. He was shamed by his
Huge.
family, and they told him never to return home. Because beauty is quite prized in the Yuan-Ti world, and in the Lizard Folk world, to be fair. Therefore, Hadras stayed at the school and studied. He is now known to be one of the strongest evocation headmasters that the school has ever had. Nevertheless, he has not as yet found any way of restoring his face. And as we ponder on Hadras's poor face, we should take a short break. We'll see you soon. I'm aware I'm Yo! Welcome back to session 0.5 of the Academy of Shar. This is a sort of slow introduction thing that we're doing. When we left off, we were finishing off some drinks in the bar. And where we will resume is Monday morning, 9:30. Who's an early riser? Who's a morning person?
I'm definitely an early riser.
Okay. Well, I mean, you've all arisen because you're all in class right now. I'm just wondering who's happy to be in class right now and who's pissed the fuck off about it.
I'm sitting in the front seat in the middle.
Oh.
You're taking my spot now?
I think Zas, Cadmus, and DC are in like a little line in the middle. All sat there, like they brought those extra large backpacks, you know, that like they've got books that hang off their front. They've got their spectacles on. They're all hello. And then sat at the very back is just a Veltri with a foot on a desk.
Yep.
I might be a little bit more sluggish than usual, though, considering, you know...
Right, you're 2 days later.
Oh, 2 days, right.
We're on Monday, not Saturday. Nobody fucking
Usually-
Saturday.
I would have thought that I would have been, like, boozing up for a lot of
No.
weekend. Fair enough, yeah.
Usually I have the unseen servant.
I'll be sat one seat behind Ziggy, and I'll be minor conjuration a feather, and then with mage hand trying to tickle him under the ear.
You dick.
That's good. I like it.
What's that?
Okay. And as you are all playing about, suddenly a voice comes from up above you. And you look up and you don't see anything. Yeah. An illusion is an art. It is not just
pick me.
a lesson to be taught, but a skill to be learnt. Do not think that because it is illusionary, it is any less effective. An illusion that you believe in is no different from that is real.
At the sound of the teacher's voice, I'll quickly get rid of the feather and mage hand.
Excellent decision. You hear that he says, illusion is important, it is dangerous, it is an art that requires refinery and perfection. Ah, who am I kidding? At this point, you see buckets of water appear above all of your heads and tip over. Okay, I need each of you to make a wisdom check, please. Check, not save. DC 19.
Ooh, 21.
17.
Failure.
Yeah, I'm failing that.
Considering I failed, my instinct response would be to immediately snap shape water above me.
Nothing happens.
I cast minor illusion.
Yep.
And I put a
But I
fish
don't
in
know
the
that,
water.
do I?
As these buckets of water all pour over you, those of you who try to shape water, nothing happens. You hear a collective gasp and yelp and scream from the audience, from those students. Eveltria, did you succeed or fail?
21.
21. Okay, you were fine.
Holy
You
shit.
just looked up, rolled your eyes, and got on with it.
Seeing the bucket above me, I was like,
Anyone who failed feels wet. You feel wet, you feel cold, and as soon as he says, an illusion that you believe in is as effective as the real thing, you then no longer feel cold and wet and just dry. And stepping out into the middle of the room from... he sort of floats down on a disc. He's no longer invisible. Is a small gnome. This gnome is wearing a... I'm going to actually go and get a picture. I forgot about this. I should really have had this one in advance, but I forgot I would need this picture. Oh, have I lost it? Huh. Oh, there we go. You guys might recognize this guy. I nicked his art in a hurry when we were in Drathnor Keep. But this is Furlock. He is the master of illusion here. Do that. There we go. Perfect. And he sort of steps out, his long beard bustling down, and he looks out to the class and he says, in my opinion, illusion is the most fun that you can have when magic is concerned. And fun is the name of the game when you're in class. Now, each of you, if you would take out your magic textbooks, each one of you has 3 textbooks. One of them is the Book of Magic, one of them is the Book of Mundane Studies, and one of them is the Book of Shar, the Academy book. So as you lean over and each of you takes out your tome and textbook here, please turn to page 48. And as you turn to page 48, you see in front of you a spell called Major Image. He says, this is perhaps... sorry, not Major Image, Silent Image. Silent Image, I must get this correct. He says, and now what I would like you to do is please take a moment and focus. And he sort of gestures with his hand, and unerringly to each one of you, a single glass bead is delivered, sitting in the center of your desk. Please pick up your glass bead, and as you look into it, imagine that inside the glass bead is a person. Perhaps this is somebody you love, perhaps this is somebody who amuses you, perhaps this is somebody who makes you laugh, perhaps somebody you find interesting. But please, nobody that you dislike. I want you to focus on somebody you like and enjoy spending time with. This may even be one of your classmates. As you focus, imagine that they are inside this ball. And then I would like you to raise your right hand and repeat after me as you move your hand in this gesture. And he sort of does a circle and then lays it out in front of him. And he says some sort of ridiculous arcane chant that I'm not going to give you, and you all will have a chance to repeat it. And as you do this and you say these words, you will gesture and imagine that you are placing this person from inside the glass bead onto the table in front of you. And he looks up and... Okay. Those of you who have already completed the enchantment, please wait. We will move on to number 2 in future. You look around and only one person has done this. It's Cadmus, Ziggy, Zas. You've studied this sort of stuff, but this was like before he'd even mentioned the incantation. There was an image of a young Yuanti standing upon the table.
Does it mean anything that I already know this spell?
It will do in a minute. But you wouldn't have been rude enough to cast it before, I don't think, before he'd explained in full.
Was that Cassandra who did that then?
It was. Sitting there with her foot up on a chair next to her. Sort of 3 chairs to the left of Aveltria. She's she's near the back, but she's a little to the left. There's a gap around her. There are no other people sitting around her. And this image of this snake man is not only on her desk, it is turning around and on the spot. And it is doing a stupid dance. And she is boredly looking in the other direction. Well, the rest of you, please, after me. Now, if you know this spell, you do not have to roll. However, if you do not know this spell, you will need to make an Arcana check for me, please. Anybody who specializes in illusion magic, that is none of you, correct? Because Ziggy, you already know this spell? Yeah, cool. Would roll at an advantage. But the rest of you, just a simple roll, please. And the DC has been set at 9.
Wonderful.
That's a 10, so...
That's a 16.
19.
Okay.
17.
Cool. My attentive and excellent students, most of you have found this fairly simple. And as you concentrate, the image from the glass bead raises onto your table. At this point, I would like to come to Aveltria and ask you, who would this person be?
Elliot.
Elliot being your twin brother.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not fucking confusing in the slightest. All right. I've got Elliot, Alandria, and Aveltria all in one fucking world, all twins of someone. Great. Love you too. All of this from Laura, the player. Thanks. Fantastic. Kira, I don't suppose you've summoned Kendra by any chance, have you? Zas, who would this person be for you?
This would be my younger sister, Marble.
Sorry, what was her name?
Marble.
Marble. Lovely. Okay. And why? What does Marble represent to you?
The future of our family.
Sweet and precise. DC, who would this person be to you?
I cast my good friend Matthias.
All right, and as you look to the right, you see that the Lagon brother and sister have conjured each other. And he looks over at you. I think you're funny, kid.
What are you talking about?
We're not friends, you know. You're a bit of an idiot, bit simple.
Haha, you're really funny too.
Wait, during
Got a
this
nice smile on
entire
my face.
conversation, I'm laughing my head off.
Yeah. You see his sister's just like muttering under her breath, and then as she finishes, she sort of goes and gestures towards you. She will dispel magic on your table, and your image will disappear, Ziggy. But who is this image for you?
So in the bead, it was Cadmus with a book trying to break out of the bead. And now that
Go on, carry on.
and now that he's stood on the desk, he's looking really sad because he's holding a book, and when he flips it over, it's got no words in it.
I like it. Cadmus, who is this person for you?
You know what? Let's go with this one. The
Think
person
carefully
on
about
the
what it
desk-
really would be for your character. Is he somebody who matters or who makes you laugh, yeah?
It's just gonna be Bart being a prankster.
He makes you laugh. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as these images disappear, Veltria, you hear a small voice in your ear. You don't find this shit boring? This voice is that of Cassandra.
I don't care for a show off. Leave me alone.
And yet you did it with ease.
And
Just be nice to learn something more advanced. At this moment, Furlock coughs. You are aware that that does not mean silence in this room? He looks over at Cassandra. I can hear that very clearly, thank you. And for those of our more advanced students, whether they are there because they have studied hard, because of pure blind luck, I will have another spell. And at this moment, he will ask you to cast something that I don't think any of you will have prepared. Spare me a second, I'm just getting up the details to see what the material component is. And he will ask each of you to make yourselves invisible. Can anybody cast invisibility yet? No, you're all level 1.
No.
Stupid question. Okay, brilliant. And at this point, he will ask you all to cast invisibility. He will hand each of you out with a swift movement of his hand the material component of gum arabic. Each of you may add this to your inventory, by the way, because you will now be able to use it for other spells that require the same thing. I think I got it as gum arabic. You may need to put a COM in advance in parentheses or brackets, whichever one these count as. But I think if you just type Arabic, it will come up.
Yeah, it does.
Fantastic, yeah.
Right, loads.
He will ask each of you to focus on yourself. And he tells you to imagine yourself cold. Like a coldness descending from the very top of your head, all the way down to the tips of your toes. This coldness tingles. And he says, as you do this, to raise your hand and gesture down in front of your whole body. Imagine you are cold, yes. Okay, good. I'm glad to know. And you start at the top of your head and you gesture all the way down. The words to this spell are very simple, although they are in Draconic. Do any of you, apart from Cadmus, speak Draconic?
I do!
I do.
Hey, what a coincidence.
Those of you who do not speak Draconic, please can you make a note to tell me at the end of the session when we will discuss your catch-up lessons on Draconic. Nevertheless, you should have learnt it by now. Come on, you're all 21 and you've been studying in the school in linguistics for long enough. Regardless, you will now need to make your Arcana checks, and because you are level 1, you will all be making these at disadvantage. The DC for this is 25. However, Ziggy, this will be a straight roll for you, as you are a member of the College of Illusion. But you still need a 25.
The only way I can do that is if I roll 2 nat 20s in a row.
Yep, it's probably the case for most of you.
Mm.
It is not meant to be easy to succeed.
20.
You got 1 nat 20, that's not good enough?
Yeah.
None of you have like a +9 or anything? Matt, did you make it? I know the rest of you
No.
can't. Okay.
No, I didn't.
I got close.
Did you?
22.
Ooh, on a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you, little fucking show off. Ziggy, what I'm gonna say, sorry, Zas, what I'm gonna say for this then is, as you do it, you manage to make only your head invisible. And the rest of you, what you've done is make yourself cold. Eveltri, I need a wisdom save, please. The rest of you, you've managed to make yourselves cold, but you haven't actually managed to make yourselves invisible. Only 2 students have succeeded in this class, and one of them is not the Yuanti.
I'm gonna walk up over to Zaz and like pat him on the shoulder. You've never looked better.
Excuse me, sit down, please. What he's done is very good there. He has achieved a lot. For a first-time attempt on this spell, that is an excellent work. Whereas you, what have you done? Made your testicles smaller? Please, take a seat.
Hey,
Mark,
my minor conjuration can't make them bigger.
Mark,
Laughing.
Can you conjure a mirror? I cannot see.
That'd be an 8 for me.
Is that a fail? It is. It is a fail.
I will minor conjuration a small mirror and raise it in front of Zaz's face.
As the there's a sort of flames, the crackling of a flame at the back of the room, and you smell a slight smell of burning, and you see that the flames have all of a sudden sort of disappeared to the point that they're just being held in the middle of a small glass ball. It looks the ball isn't actually glass, but they're being held inside a small sphere, so as not to cause any damage. And Veltri, you will again hear that same voice in your head. If that wasn't intentional, I'll let it go.
No, it wasn't intentional.
Just trying to lend a hand, and the spell and the flame is gone. The other person who has managed to become invisible, as Veltri, you will notice that there is no Cassandra at the back of the class anymore. Is a gentleman who you would all know normally sits to the left of Cadmus. This is a human. His name is Bryson, which is spelled like that. And he's quite a posh child. He's very well spoken. He comes from Dakron, and he has sort of black hair that is greased backwards. He's always a little sloppily dressed, but is definitely a man of worth and money. And he's a very excellent student, although rarely excels at anything. But it seems that this is something he can excel at, as he has disappeared from his customary spot to the left of Cadmus. And you see him speak up. How do I undo it? How do I undo it? I can't find myself. I can't find myself. I can't do it. I can't get rid of it. I can't get rid of it. What is going on here? And you see that not only has he made himself invisible, he's made his desk invisible, his book invisible, his components invisible. He is a little lost as he's got no sort of bearings. He's made his chair invisible, and even the left arm of Cadmus, just at the elbow, he's made invisible as he's created a circle of invisibility. And Felloc looks down and, well, that's mighty impressive, although not actually what we were shooting for, Bryson, but well done. And he flings out what looks like sort of powder. Those of you will know that it was stone dust. Those of you who know your components. And this stone dust sort of sprinkles down over the... leaving a sort of unusual grey-looking statue in the middle of the room briefly before he then forms into full colour. Just give me a... I'm going to say Veltri is probably not the one to do this because she's probably not paying attention at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
But Zas and DC, please give me a perception check. As you're sitting at the front of the class and you haven't just had your arm turned invisible.
I'm running really good. Natural 20, 23.
Great.
Sure.
That makes up for DC being temporarily blinded. You notice that the Yuanti Cassandra becomes visible briefly as she walks out the lecture hall to the right. Undoing her invisibility spell as she leaves.
Can I point my finger and cast message?
Mm-hmm.
Class isn't over. Where are we going, Cassandra?
It is for me. And Veltria, as you look down at your desk, a piece of paper has been left upon it by her invisible hands. It says, would be good to chat one-to-one sometime. Sorry if we got off on the wrong foot. Cassandra. As she leaves, Burlock will begin to continue telling you guys about the invisibility spell and how it's done and how it works, such, but only one of you manages to grasp this. Ziggy, when you hit level 2, you may write this into your spellbook. Zas, you are able to do so if you can give me a second Arcana check of over 20. Straight roll.
Let's try.
Are we not already level 2?
We're level 2, yeah.
You are level 2, aren't you? No, you need to be level 3 for a level 2 spell slot, is what I meant. None of you have a level 2 spell slot, do you?
No.
Uh-huh.
Nope. That's a 15 for me.
Okay, so unfortunately you are not able to. When you hit level 3, when you have access to a level 2 spell slot, Ziggy, you will have invisibility in your spellbook.
Okay.
However, at the moment, casting it on demand is not something that is manageable for you. However, in a classroom setting with guidance and a scroll in front of you, you are able to do it. So, At this point, Furlock, after a sort of 45 minutes, 50 minutes of people making themselves cold and hot, if I might assume, I think Aveltria probably stopped trying after 20 minutes or so, when making herself cold became just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Cool. And we will take a short moment to time skip through as you guys go back, get yourself a snack. Is anybody wanting to discuss anything as you all enter the common room together? Is anybody wanting to discuss the class?
From the burning, would we have smelled anything, or was it just like Furlock dealt with it that fast?
Furlock didn't deal with it. Cassandra did.
Oh, well, but was it dealt with that fast?
Yeah, it was like done.
Okay, so we never even noticed it.
Unless Aveltria tells you, you wouldn't know about it.
No.
Nope. That's what I thought I was gonna hit.
Can we notice that you're like? Can we notice that Aveltria is distracted? I'm asking Aveltria.
How does Aveltria look?
Yeah.
She might be quiet as they walk back, but then she'll put on a face and be back to her normal self.
Give me a performance check on that.
So we know nothing about this fire.
No.
16.
Yeah, no, you know nothing about the fire or that she's feeling off today.
I must say, can I make an insight or?
No. That's she's just DC 12. She's able to put in a face. She's pretty good at this. She's been doing it for years. You guys may know that she's not feeling great, but Aveltria, can be not feeling great because breakfast didn't taste right. It's not like she walks around with a smiling, happy face all the time and is suddenly looking a little off.
What is our next class anyway?
Your next class is this evening, or this afternoon, sorry, and it is evocation.
I'll look toward DC. So why did you put Matthias in the bead?
What do you mean?
Well, it's no mystery that he dislikes all of us.
He likes me. We're good friends.
How did you come upon this? What makes you think that?
Because he's my fellow classmate and we're friends.
Oh. Noble. Okay. I guess I'll accept that answer. Just be careful, DC.
We're okay. We hang out all the time.
You do? When?
Yeah. What?
When?
In class. You're there too.
No, I don't mean in class. I mean anything extracurricular, outside of class.
We were all at the bar on Friday. Remember that?
Well, he didn't come with us.
He was with us though.
made it. Huh.
And we're in the same house.
Do you understand what delusions of grandeur mean?
No.
I'm hearing this conversation, feeling like it could go on forever. I'm gonna mess his ass. Come on, just leave it. We're not gonna get anywhere.
You're right. I just worry about him.
What's there to worry about? And then I'll say out loud, "We can do anything."
I guess. I'm going to check on my plants, my garden.
Okay. I'm going to continue to fight my alert box not going where I wanted to. It's really upsetting me right now. So as you head over to your plants, which are absolutely fine, they have not become particularly distressed since this morning. You sort of just get ready for the next class, and we will move on to said next class. As you enter this class, however, something is a little unusual about it. It's the normal university lecture hall that you guys are being asked to turn up to for your class. However, it's sort of grayed in mist and smoke. I just realized we've got the tavern music playing. Let me fix that. Why not at tavern, please?
We've been in tavern for a while.
We have been in tavern for a while, but it was quite nice.
Living it up.
It was quite nice. I was quite enjoying it, despite the flute.
Listen, I don't mind a flute.
I just didn't like that flute.
That flute was pretentious as hell. It's just
It is.
For those who
I'm a
don't know what we're
fantasy
talking
flute.
about, this
Oh.
is my Drathnor Keep table normally. We're currently on hiatus as our cleric takes some time out. And the theme tune to Drathnor Keep apparently contains some pretentious flute. But Kira waited 4 months to tell me that he hated our theme tune. So I hope you guys enjoy this theme tune a bit more. We won't normally play the theme tune through the episode. Go on.
It did also take 4 months to even realise that it was a theme tune.
For some of you. For some of you. I mean, I guess a lot of the time I only play it to the audience, so that does make sense. But still, anyway, you all know now that this is our theme tune. And as you enter this lecture hall that is slightly greyed and smoky, a cloaked figure stands at the very center. You can not see any discernible sign of his skin, his hands, his body, his robes, anything. This does have some Pink Panther saxophone going on, though.
It's good.
I feel like he should be creeping into the room, you know? But yes,
Although I tell you,
as you
by
take
the
your
end of this,
seats...
I'm gonna be.
Go on.
By the
You're
end of
sick
this,
of
I'm gonna be fucking sick of this.
I won't
I'll tell
normally
you.
play it during
It will be.
during our
It
session.
will be for me like how Kira feels about the pretentious flute. I will probably.
I
be
just
sick of them
thought
soon, by
that
the
seeing
end.
as we didn't notice our theme tune for 4 months, maybe I should play the theme tune during session 0.5 so that you guys could be aware of it. From now on, it will just be played to the audience during the starting soon screen, so it probably won't bother you in the slightest. Nevertheless,
Good, I'm sick of it.
I'm assuming you all take your customary seats. Zas, Ziggy, and Cadmus in the front. Bart slightly behind Ziggy, and Veltria somewhere near the back. Yes?
Veltria is in the back, but she is paying a lot closer attention this time.
As silence. And he gestures, and quite literally, it is silent in the room. Not even the sound of air moving or anything. And
Who's
you
this
each...
teacher?
This is Hadras, the faceless master of evocation. And each of you will hear a voice in your mind. The arts of evocation are supplemented by all other schools of magic. But nevertheless, every mage will take evocation magic in their studies. It is the art of damage. It is the art of removing your enemy. But it is also the art of hiding in the flames, controlling the earth, maneuvering the water. Simple things. Necessary things. Please take out your textbooks and open them to page 5. At this moment, the room becomes less silent. You hear the flapping of books. And somebody sort of coughs nervously in the corner. You see the Lagon brother and sister are looking a little nervous for like the first time ever. And Veltria, as you turn to the left, you see that Cassandra is paying rapt attention. We will start not with any minor arts. Instead, I assume you all know how to shape flames, or at least have been provided manufacturing equipment to enable you to do so, for those who are incompetent of learning themselves. Please, at this moment, he gestures behind him, and the entire wall bursts into a wall of flame. I ask each of you to draw a ball of flame from this wall and bring it to your table. No, Snape is one teacher, and he is this one. There is, yeah, he is most definitely an inspiration in many ways. Alan Rickman's a genius. Why would you not take inspiration?
True.
As each of you have this small ball of flame on your table, I'm assuming nobody has managed to fail a DC 3 Arcana check.
Impossible to fail.
It's not impossible to fail. A nat 1 will be a failure.
Oh.
Nobody's failed in my side of the class.
Nope.
Nope.
You see that Cassandra has summoned a slightly larger ball than everybody else, and he knocks over. And it expands really fast into her face. And he gestures again, and it retrieves really slowly. You can give me a perception check, of Veltria, if you wish. Although I'm not sure you're paying any attention.
Ooh, 23.
Okay.
I'm paying a lot of attention.
To Cassandra's ball.
Oh yeah, because she's a show off. It
Right.
annoys me.
Okay, cool. You are. I thought you might be. You notice with your innate knowledge of sort of the evocation arts that what he just did was illusionary flames came over his face. Her face, even as you. There will be nobody who shines in this class. You will all learn equally and evenly, even the incompetent ones. Thus, we will progress together. We will wait until the most slovenly and useless of students has succeeded before we move on to the next topic, even if we are here until midnight. So, now that you have taken your evenly shaped fireballs without feeling the need to compromise, you will now take this ball and expand it into a small figure of a person. And with this person, you shall ask him to raise his hand and cast a line of flame down in front of him, using the simple powdered ruby that is on your desk left-hand side. And gestures, and there is powdered ruby on your desk left-hand side. You will fling it out in front of you, and you will say, Aganata! And you will attempt to cast Aganaza's Scorcher. Please make your Arcana checks.
Do we add that to our component pouch?
No, it is consumed in the use of this spell.
Ah.
He doesn't really care how much he's going to have to expend. Please, go on, Adultery.
As an evocation, is this advantage?
It will be with advantage, yes.
I got a
The
23.
DC is 25.
Damn. We're gonna be
Let's
here
do-
a while.
26.
26? We have our only successful student of the room. The rest of you, if you got between a 20 and a 24, you have managed to make a line of fire. It's just not an Agonizer's Scorcher. It's just a bit of a mess. For the rest of you, you have managed nothing. He looks over. Veltria Inowin, is that correct?
Inarwin.
Inarwin, please, stand. Come down here. I suppose I should have expected you to be gifted in this art. However, I was not expecting you to be this gifted in the art. Excellent. If you would please demonstrate to the group how to shape your flame into a being. And please repeat what you've just done and show us all how the incantation goes. And as you sort of finish your Agonizer, a streak of flame goes across the stage. At this point, you hear a shriek from sort of back right-ish somewhere. As you turn around, there is a halfling girl who appears to have set her own hair on fire. And she sort of, oh, I'm sorry. And you can see her sort of take her water skin out, pour it out, start shaping it to remove the flames from her hair. This here is Heta. Heta is quite simply like that. Heta is the scattiest halfling in history. She forgets everything, drops her books on a regular basis, trips over anything and everything, has been the butt of many jokes from Bart and DC. No, I think Heather is more organized than Heta. Yeah, however, she is incredibly intelligent. She remembers all sorts of bizarre facts in history and politics class. She excels in science class, and you've heard rumors that maybe she might be going to join the artificery classes, which is very unusual because you have to be exceptionally intelligent, a wizard, and capable of learning sort of the technical sciences and crafts and good with your hands. However, she's also prone to a natural disaster, and this is exactly what she's done. The sort of classroom descends into cackling and laughter as you see that she has completely burnt her eyebrows off. And it's a bit of a tragedy over there, and here, defiling one's face is no laughing matter. It can be incredibly dangerous, the art of evocation. However, you seem to have dealt with it somewhat sufficiently, madam. If you might try pointing your hands away from your face when using fire magic, It is probably advisable. Those of you who failed, you will see more ruby dust in your desk. Vulture, you may take the rest of the day off, but I would like to see you one-to-one tomorrow evening, 9 p.m., please. We will speak about advanced fire magics. Thank you for your time.
Sure.
And
Are you sure you don't want help showing people?
I'm quite sure I do not need the help of a second-year student. Impressed as I am with your abilities, you may leave. He looks over to Cadmus in the front row. Cadmus, what was your Arcana check?
That was only a 12.
12.
It's not very good.
I had thought that one akin to flames on the internal sense would at least be able to make their fire go somewhere.
I could make some fire go somewhere, if you like.
I don't want you to spit at me, you incompetent fool. I want you to cast the spell you were given. I had thought that you were meant to be top of your class, a studious and excellent intelligent student. Unfortunately, it seems that, well...
In transmutation, unfortunately, yes.
So what you're telling me is that your time spent with your nose in front of your book has not actually blessed you with one iota of talent. And you... He looks at Zas. I had thought that you also were top of the class. Quick study. You don't find the evocation arts so simple. What was your
I
Arcana
failed
check?
in this endeavor. 15.
15, yes, I thought it was. Yeah. Well, I'm sure that both of you will study harder. The same could not be said for you two. And he steps in front of the Lagon siblings. I had not expected such incompetence so quickly. What on earth have you done to your desk, Matthias? Put your hand out in front of you when you are casting fire spells, otherwise you will burn down things you don't want to. That book is rather expensive. I'm sure Daddy will pay for it, but nevertheless, please try and point forwards. It is not that hard. In fact, shall we forget the magic in this class? Let's take a small moment to acknowledge what pointing forwards is. That is, I take my hand and I place it out in front of me in a straight line. Not at my face, Heta, not at my table, not at my desk, nor my clothing, nor my book, but in front of me, pointing forwards. And he looks over to Bart. Perhaps one who is akin to playing butler might demonstrate.
Professor,
Bartholomew.
they tried their best.
Where just as he was going around having a go at people, I was like snickering. I rolled a 23.
Yeah, I know. But nevertheless, he sort of looks at you and perhaps you may demonstrate to the class how to gesture in front of yourself.
Sure. I'll stand up. Can I do that? I don't know the limitations of minor conjuration.
It's a mundane item, a simple mundane item.
It's not really.
I wasn't also sure that you could cast it limitless number of times a day, can you?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, that shit's pretty cool.
It does technically look like a magic item. It glows.
Yeah, I'll gesture forward. Like this.
And as you gesture forwards, a streamer of bright lights comes out of your hand, making a sound as a bugle plays and the streamers come out. And you just, Vulture, you just hear Cassandra going, "The trickster can be the butt of the jokes, can he not? Nice and easy as we go." And then you just see this bugle stop and the face sort of turns towards Cassandra. The faceless face, I guess, is the way of putting it. This is not a place for jokes. You can leave now. Anyway, he's talking to Cassandra. She sort of looks around. Well, this is never going to be worth listening to anyway, was it? But make an insight check, those of you who turn towards her. In fact, I'll probably take an insight check from anyone. The DC's 19, so if any of you can get above a 19.
I was gonna say that she would not want to leave class. She would probably still be hanging out around the door.
I think Aveltria might be able to make an insight check with advantage here. The rest of you just an insight check. Did anybody get a 19 or above?
Oh,
Nope.
19 exactly.
There you go. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, Aveltria, you notice that she feels really stupid for having spoken out here. This is, although she doesn't respect Hadras as a person, she clearly respects his magical arts. Even though she's interested in enchantment, she knows that he's a really good teacher. And she sort of leaves, but you see just as she walks, a slight sign of bitterness on her face. She goes out. And at this point, he will continue to teach the class, although those of you who rolled between 20 and 25, was it Bart and DC originally?
Yeah, I got 23.
Bart, what was your original? Sorry, Ziggy, what was your original?
23.
Yeah, okay, it was both of you. Cool. You two may make another Arcana check. If you can get a 20 or above, a straight roll, you may take note that Agonizer's Scorcher.
21.
21, congratulations. So, Bart, when you hit level 3, you will be able to write Agonizer's Scorcher into your spellbook. As a spell you have learned, not as necessarily a spell you have to prepare. Cool. And then at the end of the class, sort of eventually all of you manage to cast it once. Not all of you will be able to write it into your spellbook, obviously, but all of you would at least be able to cast it once without disaster. Finally, as Heta succeeds. Yes, go on, Bart.
Alright, in the class, well, is there any water around?
Yes. So what you see after he's got rid of the wall of flame is at the back of the class he's got a brazier with flame constantly going in above it. He's got a large ewer of water. He's got a podium upon which is a large rock, and he's got what appears to be some sort of strange device. It looks like a podium, but there's a swirling ball of what appears to be wind or mist going on constantly. All 4 of those are at the back of the room. They weren't there when Furlock was teaching in the same class.
I'm gonna walk over to the water.
Okay, you're gonna have to walk like this is at the back behind him. Are you gonna walk onto the stage where he's teaching?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, sir, can I show you something I learned?
If you must. He sort of looks at you like you're a complete psychopath.
Crazy. I'm gonna walk over to the water, and I'm gonna like motion my hand on like a little ball of water like forms in my hand, and then like I like throw it in front of me, and the water turns into a body of like a thief, and then he throws an ice knife at the wall, and it disappears.
He takes the ice knife from the wall, gestures, and it becomes an entire dragon made of ice. It roars and leaps towards you, snaps its jaws just in front of your face, and then bursts in a ball of flame and settles down to the ground in ash, which then swoops up into a single rose before dissipating. And he looks at you and, am I supposed to be impressed? Interested?
Just, wanted you to make note.
Take your tricks to your next lesson.
You kicking me out?
You'd already succeeded. You managed to do your Agonizer Scorcher.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess I'll like kind of walk out.
Okay. At approximately, so the class ends after you all finally succeed, Heta being the last one, and at approximately 9 p.m. you are all asked to turn up to the quartermaster. It is 9 p.m. tomorrow, Veltri, that you asked to see Hadras. Today you are all asked to report to the quartermaster at the manufactory chambers. So the manufactory chambers are below the standard school as such. They're like a large dungeon, if you like, and the quartermaster's chambers are well, all you guys will ever have seen of it is sort of a counter with a glass sort of around here, so with a circular circular area for her to look through, and behind her just shelves, and on those shelves are loads of tiny glass drawers, each one sort of labeled. As you arrive, I'm assuming the group of you turn up together. Behind the counter is Madame Jinso, like this. Madame Jinso is the quartermaster. You may have come to her for, like, ink in the past. She also would have given you your original manufacturing equipment. At the beginning of the first year, she would also have given you... second year, sorry. She would also have given you your ring and your amulet. Nevertheless, you have never been here to requisition magical components before. And as each of you step up, she will look at you and... Please let me know of any magical supplements you might need. Here is your weekly standards. And I will not list these. Simply, if you look at your manufacturing component pouch, it will list them for you. Stone dust, powdered metal, incense, phosphorus, sulfur, fleece, sand, dirt, clay, dust, animal blood, copper, and gold wire. Those you will get automatically. And we can do those off session. But if there is anything else that you need that is not contained within that list of ingredients, please let me know. And she comes first to Ziggy. Ziggy. So please let me know if you have a material component for any of your spells that is not one of those. And I will tell you that... oh, you have mage armor, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
You also have... you went full life, didn't you?
I do have false.
Okay, so full life doesn't require alcohol as it usually used to. It instead requires a mirror, and she will hand you a small mirror, which you will keep. Yes, I think it's mirror steel or mirror something. If you just type mirror, it will come up. That is an item so much as it is a component. It is genuinely a mirror. You can use it for various spells, but it won't ever be consumed. Are there any other spells you have that have material components that are not mentioned? Ah, mage armor, yes. You will be given a crystal, upon which you must... this crystal is sort of this sort of size, I guess, if I'm holding it up. Sort of like half the size of your face. It's not particularly heavy. It's quite light in material. It is pale, sort of peachy color, peach and white color. It appears to be sort of almost hollow inside. And if you were to cast mage armor on it, it would fill with magic. And then that magic would slowly dissipate over the course of the day. This could be attached to a belt. You could put it on or in your component pouch. And the mage armor will sit on that crystal around your whole body. But it does need to be on your person. If you drop the crystal, mage armor will not be on you. It will be on the floor. Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
Cool. Did you change mending?
Yeah, I added dark mist.
Okay, cool. And that doesn't have any requirements. Fantastic. Okay, she looks over to Cadmus. Any materials that you need, man?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Can't you read your spells?
Okay, so here's the problem.
Oh, you haven't prepped any spells for this session?
Yeah.
We'll deal with you out of session.
Yeah,
Zas,
thanks.
any materials?
Yes. You probably changed it. The components for chromatic orb.
Yes. You will need powdered gemstones for chromatic orb. So it's sort of similar. It's just you will need the right. So powdered gemstones is a mixture of all the different elemental gemstones. So sort of emerald for acid damage, for example, or sapphire for lightning. If you add 8 of these powdered gemstones, it's given out a 0.1 pound measure. That will give you 8 casts, effectively, which I think will... Oh, no, hold on. You are level... You're going to have 3 spell slots, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. And they don't stack, do they?
The powdered gemstones?
Yeah, the powdered gemstones don't stack with each other, do they?
Probably not.
No.
If you add 2. Okay, in that case, just modify the weight to 2.1 pounds. You will expend 0.1 pounds of them each time. Does that make sense?
So you said 2.1 pounds?
Yeah. That allows you to cast Chromatic Orb with every single one of your spell slots for the rest of the week. 2.1 pounds of powdered gemstones. Anything else that you require?
No. That is it.
Oh, one thing I probably forgot to tell all of you, apart from Kira, all ritual spells are only castable as rituals. You will never be able to prepare them and cast them as spells. I know that a couple of you know this from Beldania, so if you ever have Detect Magic, it will always take 10 minutes to cast. And it will always be a ritual, and you will never need to prepare it. They also do not require material components. They do, however, require you to understand them, of course. So you would have had to learn them. There is a series of ritual spells that you will all have access to that I will give you after session. Anything else, Sass?
No.
I realized I do have more that need something.
Yep. What is it, Matt?
Ice knife.
Ice knife, isn't that like a drop of water?
Yeah, it's just a drop
Yes.
of water on a
She's
piece
not
of
going to
ice.
hand you a drop of water. She's just going to sort of look at you like you've got a water skin, you fucking idiot. And, and ignore you. Anything else?
Well, silent image has a bit of fleece, but I'm
Fleece
assuming
is
I have
in your
that.
component pouch, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So.
cool. Veltria, any material components you are in need of?
I've already got the powdered gemstones for chromatic orb. Is
2.1
it crystal
pounds.
sphere for mage armor?
It's just a crystal. This is a focusing crystal, I believe it's called. I believe if you type crystal, it should come up focusing crystal.
Okay.
Did
and
it?
then, yep.
Great. Woo!
Small feather for featherfall.
That will be feather. I think it's bird feather, or feather of a bird. It's HRB, feather of a bird, or bird's feather. She'll give you 3 of those.
Okay.
The piece of down you could ignore. That's not a thing.
And a steel ring.
The manufactory ring will count as an iron, steel, or platinum ring for any spell that you might need to cast.
Cool.
Clever like that. Yeah, cool. And lastly, Bartholomew. Any material components that you need?
Okay, so you said that we don't need anything for light.
He's like, we're gonna go shopping. Yeah, no, you don't need anything that's. If it's cast by an item, you don't need the material component.
Okay, so I need a piece of chalk and a candle.
You have a piece of chalk in your inventory.
Okay, and a candle.
Yep, she will hand you a candle. What do you need a candle for?
Animate shadow.
Fuck me, that's unusual. Okay, cool.
And
Light
then
I suppose you need light to make a shadow. I can roll with that by logic.
and then obviously a little drop of water for ice knife.
Shitting hanging them out.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sure I can get a water skin or something.
Did you none of you have a water skin? Did I not give that out in my standard items?
No.
You may all have a water skin. Congratulations and happy Christmas.
Right.
I thought that I'd given one of those out.
Tiny tarts and a feather that is waved in the air.
What the fuck is that for?
Tasha's hideous laughter.
Mm-hmm.
Tarts?
Tiny tarts and a feather.
What, like a jam tart? A custard tart? What kind of
I'm
tart
sure
do
I
we-
don't know, James.
Ash's hideous laughter. Take a single feather from a bird, and that will be your use for it. You will not consume that in the use of the spell. Which reminds me of Eltria, Featherfall will consume a bird's feather.
Okay.
You should have string in your inventory.
And of wood.
And of wood.
That's what it says.
What's the spell?
Unseen servant.
That's a ritual. You don't need the component for
I
that.
don't need a component for ritual.
Oh, okay. And then
Also,
a twig
I'm
from a
still
tree.
intrigued, though. What does it mean, and of wood?
Don't know, James.
A bit of string and a bit of wood, I guess, is what it means, yeah.
And
She will
twig
give you
from
a forked twig, which you can search. So out of that, you've got a forked twig, a candle, and a feather of a bird. What is the wording on D&D Beyond?
What? For what?
Alora? The feather?
For what?
bird feather.
Just bird feather, is that what I
A
went
small
for?
feather.
Oh. No, I meant the wording of what it... Okay, so you didn't find it either? Yeah, so bird feather, I think, is correct.
Oh yeah, I took that.
Yeah, right, that's the material. Yeah, cool. Featherfall will consume a singular bird feather for a cast. Not for each person you hit with it. Yeah. You can get these, like, 1,000 if you want. But right now, she's assuming you're not going to cast 21 of these by next week.
I might get 2 more.
Okay, cool. And then, yeah, grab them. I just want to, like, splat your inventory with bird feathers. It's really annoying that no item you customly add to the D&D Beyond will stack with itself.
Hmm.
Like, why? What's the need for that? Cool. And as we finish with the quartermaster, you are informed that next week you will be going on an expedition. And on this expedition, you will be creating your arcane focuses. Matt, you are looking like there's a little tiny bit of you in a large bit of camera. Thank you. You're hiding behind your own wording. So next week, you will be sent on an expedition to create your arcane focus. Each of you will go to a different place depending on what it is you want to use. Your options are, I may have to repeat these, a staff, a wand, an orb, a crystal, a circlet. If I left anything out, Josh?
No.
No. Yeah, there you go. A wand, a staff, an orb, a crystal, and a circlet. I will come first to Cadmus. Which of these do you think Cadmus would like as an arcane focus? So if you imagine she's got a clipboard and a bunch of names on it, and she's waiting to write down, which it is that you want. And then she will put you in for that expedition.
How big are these orbs?
Approximately X size. What's that? 4 inches in diameter.
So not too cumbersome.
And you don't hold them. They will float around you.
Oh yeah, I'll go for the orb then. Fuck that, yeah.
One for the orb.
Screw a wand, go for the orb, yeah.
Okay, Bartholomew.
Circlet. A silver circlet with a blue
You won't
gem in
have
the
that
middle.
choice yet.
Boo.
Yet. Zas?
Seeing as how my head is shaped, I don't think a circlet would actually work out. However, can the circlet be fitted to go around my bicep?
You can wear it on your head. You could even have it so that it's instead sort of under your ears and round, but it needs to specifically be between your eyes.
The crystal, is it on a chain or does it float?
The crystal can be attached to a chain around your neck, or it may be enchanted to float around your head. Not sort of in an annoying way that blinds you, like up there somewhere. Okay, one crystal. Ziggy.
I would also do a crystal that I can wear as jewelry.
Yep, gnomes almost always choose crystals because of their homeland, which is full of strange magical crystals. Ziggy and Zas, you will be going on the expedition together, Eveltria.
Well, I mean, it's kind of in my picture already, so probably go with the crystal on the bracer if it can be.
Ah, yes, we can manage that.
Me and James tried to figure out what everyone would take, and the only person that got it right was Jamal.
Yeah.
Really?
I knew Jamal would go orb, but we didn't know. I thought Kira would go with some edgy metal staff that looked possibly like a sword. I thought that Matt would go... No, I thought Matt would go crystal, but you said Matt was going to go circlet, I think.
No, you said that you thought Matt was
Oh no,
go
wand for the illusionist. Yeah, I thought he'd think of an illusionist with a wand, so and I was determined that Eveltria would go staff. I just thought Kenner and staff was just a thing. Alora and staff was just a thing. Fuck off. I do know her name. I promise. I promise. I have played with her for 6 months. I do know who she is. I just don't know which one's her and which one's her character. It's a compliment to her role playing abilities for staying in character so much. Sure.
Oh.
Cool. So, Ziggy and Zas and
You got this. You got this.
Veltria will all be
There
going
you go.
together on their expedition. Bart and Cadmus, you'll be going separately.
Yeah.
Bart and Bart. Yes, Bart and Bart
Yeah,
and
I thought you were
Cadmus.
going to say Bart and someone else is going to go. I'm like, no, it's just
No.
him by himself.
No, Bart and Cadmus, you'll be going separately on your own expeditions. However, that will be episode 2, technically. If you take it as next week, we're starting with episode 1. So there'll be a week of learning and fun first. However, because I have some things to tell you post-session, I am going to call it there. So
Can I do one thing though?
Yeah, of course you can.
I think afterwards, I would go to Aveltria. Possibly, are you busy anytime? I failed to cast a spell, and I would like to. You were able to cast it with ease. Could you show me how you did that?
My gosh, Zaz, you're such a perfectionist.
I will. I understand that I mostly enjoy plants and nature, and I don't like the destruction of things. It seems to come natural to you.
What a compliment.
Um, so yes, I would like to learn this. It may save my life in the future, or our lives in the future.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Whatever.
Did Zaz say this in front of all of us?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna slide on over next to Zaz and gently elbow in the ribs after school classes, eh?
What do you mean?
You know, like what? You know, I guess you don't
Means you
take
have
all
a
the
crush on
classes.
her.
Do you mean after? What?
You do all the classes.
I
Cassandra
do,
leans up.
but-
Excuse me, you've turned up to the wrong campaign.
Hmm. I see. Thank you, Aveltria.
Okay, and on that bemused note, we shall come to our time-old MVPs, and I shall go first too with my magic wand. Who are you? You're down there. DC, Matt, Ziggy, Matt. Do tell me your MVP.
I think easily my MVP is everyone playing new characters. Everyone's new characters. It's a lot of fun.
It is
And I
fun.
also really like your twins because they are the exact characters I thought of when I created my personality
Oh, really?
for my character. they're basically exactly the kind of characters I thought of that I would interact with. So
Good. I'm glad.
it's a great start.
I'm glad. Yeah, we're gonna see a lot more of those. Next we will come to that is Cadmus up there.
Alright.
Jamal, your MVP.
Sashi, I can't fucking speak. Sassy, douchebag, evocation teacher. And the response of, I can make some fire for you if you want.
Professor Hadras, who told you not to spit at him.
Yeah.
Good, I'm glad. Honestly, I originally started writing a list of put downs that he would use, and I was like, wait, this is one thing I do not need to prep. I have been being rude, sassy, and sarcastic for 30 years with no help whatsoever. I do not need a list of props. Thank you, I'm glad you enjoyed him. Next one is down there. That is Zas Kira.
Oh yeah, I'll agree with that. That snake was a little bit too on point, and I was just like, when you were going at at Cadmus, I was like, oh, this sounds like real life shit going on. Hold on.
Good. Yeah, as we're winding down the episode, oh, that could be a killer. We will. Bartholomew, you will be starting off with 3 less HP next week, as a dagger will take you in the back of the throat. It's not really a dagger. It's somebody enchanting feathers to fly around the room, and you got in the way, and one back in the neck. However, I will also take your MVP, please, and poke myself in the eye with this one.
We're not sleeping before next episode.
You will sleep and then be hit by a feather, just because
Oh,
it's
fuck you.
he's thrown a dagger at the end of the episode.
There was lots of fun moments. The teachers were definitely fun, but I've got to give it to Matt's voice. It
Matt's
was
voice?
so fucking
Yeah, I
good.
like that. I like that. Matt, are you frozen?
Yeah, I think he might be.
Yeah, the key is frozen.
Dude, we're busy giving you out MVPs. You're just dead. All right. Well, in his frozen state, we shall come to. Oh, welcome back.
I think I'm back.
Yeah,
Who?
you're back. Fuck, did I say Canna? God damn it! I don't know why that's so hard. Alora, your MVP, please.
I mean, I did love all the characters. I loved Ziggy and interacting with the twins, being like, "You're my best friend," and them just like not having it. But I gotta say, it goes to the quartermaster just sort of death glaring at these 21-year-old students asking for drops of water.
Yeah, I go with that. Without a doubt, my MVP was asking Ziggy who he had summoned as somebody who he cares for or makes him laugh, and he had summoned the prick that gave him the death stare last night. That was absolutely phenomenal. I thought that was a great moment. I loved the imagery as well of Cadmus with a book trying to get out the little glass bead. I feel like I gave you, for full disclosure to stream, I gave these guys 2 days. On Tuesday, I went, oh fuck, our cleric's not going to be here for a few weeks. Let's not let him lose the story. Let's do the thing that I had prepped to do at the end of their campaign as a short interlude before going on to something longer. As such, I have expanded the Academy of Shar a little bit. It was originally a 5 to 13, due to happen over about 14 weeks. Now it's a 2 to 13, expected to happen over sort of 20 weeks, over 3 different chapters. So it will last a little bit longer. But in 2 days, you have brought me 5 characters that I know. I already know who they are. I understand their tricksterness. I understand their seriousness. I understand their foibles. I've got a perspective of their personalities, and already they feel real. So complete props to you guys as players to be able to do that in a couple of days. Also, small amount of props to Jamal. Jamal was told not to bother with his character until late last night. Congratulations on your 100% assignment.
Thanks, dude.
He
Hey.
he got it marked within 12 hours and 100%. So
Yeah,
congratulations.
it was worth
to him.
it. Yeah. So that's why my character is under prepped compared
But
to
it doesn't
everyone
feel
else,
it. It doesn't feel it, apart from the fact that you then turned around and was like, I haven't prepped any spells. But yeah, apart from that, it was yeah, it was great. Is that mouse not working for you, love? The Kira Nat 20. You can have a duck instead. Have some ducks. Yeah. So I think we haven't raided anyone for a while. Maybe we should do that. Where are we going?
Feels me.
Yeah. What? Oh, who disappeared? Did Matt vanish again? Oh my god, Zach is playing. Okay, right. We're gonna raid Zakiwak. I can never spell this. Oh my god.
Wow, what's he playing?
Points. He's playing D&D.
Oh.
He's
Nice.
probably doing his 1 hour one shot. Really cool guy. He is the DM for Secret Adventurers Society. If you don't know who the Secret Adventurers Society is, then sir, you are lost. Secret Adventurers Society are one of the best D&D groups that I know of that stream on the interwebs. So please, go and find Zach and show him some love. And we will see you all tomorrow for the return of Uxos.
Woo!
If you guys would like to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Until next time.
So long.
We shall see you soon.
Absolutely no way we could plan for every single contingency. Ayo, Alana! Yay! How are you, my friend?